Evening highlights from 5 Premier League games to bring you, plus all of yesterday's goals with Alan Shearer and Ian Wright. Let's start at Stamford Bridge.
Yes, it was an amazing game. It's difficult to talk because I think everyone saw how exciting was the game. Play against Manchester City, for me the best team in the world, and then Chelsea being brave and try to go for the goal, try to win the game, the 3 points. Yes, I think it was an amazing evening.
Cole Palmer, what a superb penalty.
Yes, talk about his personality and his character. You know, he's a player that arrived in the last moment for Manchester City, and yes, he's showing great character and great performance, and that is why I think we are so happy for him.
As a coach, would you rather draw a game 4-4 or draw it 1-1?
That's what it is. I prefer win 0-7, but that is not happening in that level. So they are a fantastic team. We know always they play good against top sides, Liverpool, Arsenal, and so on. So we knew it. In that moment, at the end, it was a tight game. I would say a 4 result.
I think we play more the game than our game. We committed mistakes with the ball. We weren't clinical. We played the game transition better in these situations.
We had the right goal, showed our personality, showed a belief within ourselves, and put in a good performance. And it's one that I think we could have got more from.
I thought Monday night was a bit crazy. This was kind of more of the same. Thank goodness for the international break. You probably need it.
I need after the Tottenham and Manchester City from Monday to Sunday is only 6 days, and now is to recover and be ready again.
Go and put your feet up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, they need to lie down. We couldn't have asked for any more from that, could we, really?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic game. We know that Chelsea do well against the top 6 sides. You know, City are going to come and press high. Chelsea are going to press high, try and win the ball, which I thought they'd done very well today. And then you know that if you make mistakes, City will punish you. And what we saw with Chelsea today, who have been creating chances but not taking them, is that they did take some of their chances. But in the main, it's a brilliant end-to-end game. Brilliant end-to-end game.
You're going to look at someone who very quickly is becoming one of the first names on their team sheet, isn't he?
Well, there were some very, very impressive Chelsea performances. I thought Reece James was superb, Conor Gallagher, Raheem Sterling was incredible. Nicholas Jackson, again, I thought certainly improved. But 21-year-old Cole Palmer was absolutely sensational. And you know what? One of the impressive things about me is he always tries to do that. And what I want to say about that is trying to pass it forward into one of the forwards. His first thought is, can he do that? Can he get forward? Can he run forward? All right, a little bit of luck, poor defending, but it's him that's starting it off, and Raheem gets his goal. Little ball around the corner, the confidence to do that. And there was nothing short of him being magnificent whenever he had the ball, offering himself there when he's under pressure. And same thing again. Look, he's getting the ball, he's driving forward, and he's pinging that ball into the forwards, which is setting Chelsea into really good positions. Same thing again. Look, receiving the ball on the half turn and running and getting into the box, going past 2 or 3 players. What a goal that would have been. I mean, he's 21 years of age, and he's only been there 5 minutes. And you're right, he's a regular now, and he's one of the main players in that team. He looks so confident. If he can't pass it forward, he keeps the ball into one of his teammates. And when all this is going on with a penalty, calmest, coolest man in the stadium was him. I mean, I can't tell you how difficult that is, and the situation and the pressure. No pressure at all for him. Pressures for tyres. No problem at all. It was superb. It was magnificent.
He's got an inner steel, hasn't he? He must have to say, right, well, actually, I'm not happy at City. I want to play regular football.
Yeah,
so
you've got to
move on. And he's gone there and gone,
and I think it was a good deal for both parties, both for City and for him, because when you look at who he was up against, there's no way he would have been a regular at Man City. So good for him. He said, I want to leave. I want to play first team football. I want to be a regular. So they got good money for him, and he's now getting that. And he's
brilliant.
Fantastic.
He's done well.
And he was part of an overall Chelsea attacking threat.
Well, I would say because Chelsea do well against the top teams, because maybe they come and play and they give you some space to play. But when you look at the space they pick and the way they get it in there quickly, that's the main thing with City. If you're going to play in City, you've got to do it quick. In this instant, yes, you know, Kyle Walker, I thought got a really tough time from Raheem Sterling today, done very well in that instance. But again, you see how quickly they can break against City. And then once they do break, if they lose it, here, look at the bodies. Cucurella in. keeping them in that area there, keeping them trying to win it back in there. This is what they've done well all game. They never let City breathe at all in this situation. They saw where it was and they made sure that they smelt that blood and went for it. And they caused them a lot of problems in this instance. Look at Gallagher does well here. Then the third man run. There he goes. Casado. Bam. They're in again. This is what they call City. You could see the stretching. See that stretching City. If they got that going, they could have had 2 against 1 in the middle. It was really tough. Once they turned here, this is good players. Bang. Bang. They're out. That's it. Look, they're straight into City's back 4. Here they go. And then you see Raheem Sterling, like I said, was having a brilliant game today. You know, having a go at Kyle Walker, done well. And you think if these two made better movements here, made some movement, they could have maybe got something. And that is the next thing that Chelsea probably have to work on, is making sure that they can take advantage of those situations. And this is the penalty in the end. Again, too much time for space and to get the ball into him. And they have...
At the top there, they have improved against the other so-called Big Six.
Mm-hmm.
I know, Alan, it'll be a Big 7 soon. Don't worry, we'll see that. Right.
Seen a word.
No, I know, but I could just see your eyes next to me. Right, so they have improved against the other Big Six this year compared to last year. But I suppose what that also tells us is the other Big Six are likely to go at Chelsea. So then Chelsea can try and exploit that. Where they're struggling as well is against the sides that sit deep against.
Well, that's the problem. And this is where, like Al pointed out, you need your centre forward in those instances to be able to come link so as you can bring the team up, so as you can link the ball, keep the ball in those areas where Chelsea are very, very good, like we've seen, so then they can attack from a higher position.
And in the same way that Chelsea were able to pick Manchester City off a bit, City were able to pick Chelsea off in a similar way.
They are brilliant at it, and you know if you're not at your game, and particularly on the turnover when City win it, they're prepared to commit so many men in the forward positions that at times they are going to punish you. There's not a lot you can do. I'm really unlucky there with Phil Foden. The press, they're good at it as well, and just watch all of a sudden. So they turn from a defence into attack, and all of a sudden, 3 or 4 seconds later, look, you've got 6 Man City players in the box looking to punish you, and they are brilliant at that and have been for a long time.
Well, this is the problem they've got. If they don't pick up people like, look at Silva where he is there. That's far too much time and space, and that is where, if you're holding midfielder, whether it's Enzo, whether it's Caicedo, you've got to be tighter on that. You should have done better with that. For me, again, you look at this situation, Caicedo's not close enough to someone like Bernardo. So look at the amount of space in there. He's got to recognise, bam, he's killed him. He's got to recognise that is a danger, and he's got to recognise that quicker. And it's the same when we see it again in the second. But look at the City players getting forward. This is the problem you've got. When they get into that situation in that part of the field, they're going to cause you a problem here. For me here, you can see Caicedo there. Haaland, too much space. He's got to recognise and see the danger that if this ball comes into him, they're going to have a problem. It does. He just misses out on it. And then look at City. City are away, and those are the margins. So if you get that wrong there, you know, it's the ball's in the box, bam, Haaland, side, and that is where Chelsea against a City, that is where anybody against City, you have to be paying attention.
All in all, but I mean, it was 2 teams just going
they
for
were going
each other,
for it, man. It was brilliant.
It's a great game.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I mean, you can see City's next 3 Premier League fixtures. I mean, it all depends who's fit for Tottenham, I suppose, with this question. But Liverpool, Tottenham and Villa, given the way they are playing this season, they might go at City as well.
Well, I think we know they will. I think we know the way.
But so therefore, we see today you can get at City.
Yeah, you can do it. If you're prepared to be brave and you're going to have to take your chances, you'll get chances.
You need players playing
right.
really well. You need, like the players you mentioned.
Yeah.
You need them playing really well, and then you've got to keep it going, chappers.
Yeah.
Because then City will just keep going, keep doing what they do, and they wear you down. But you've got to try and wear them down.
Yeah.
The Caicedo thing, just finally on that, is that something that will come over time once he's used to people around him? I mean, that team has changed a lot around him over the course of him just being.
I think it will, simply because he himself has got to recognise there's too much space there. I've got to get closer to him, just to feel the danger. Once he smells that danger, feels the danger, he'll be able to maybe get in and tow something away, and then bam, he starts to do what we see him doing at Brighton. But it's a learning process for him.
Yeah, a big moment for those 2 former City players. It's worth just looking at this in case you forgot how the game went. 1-0 City from Haaland's penalty, then 2-1 to Chelsea, right on the stroke of half-time, City level. Then 91 seconds into the second half, Haaland again, then back came Chelsea for 3-3. It looked as though Rodri's deflected shot had won it with 3 minutes of the 90 to go. but then Cole Palmer, who you just heard from, in the 95th minute against his former club with his 4th Premier League penalty in 5 games to get a point for Chelsea. Just a quick one. You understand why they don't want to celebrate against their old club?
Sort of. Yeah, a little bit of mark of respect. Sort of, I say. Because I think it's all, you're at a new club now. They're your new teammates. It's your job. You should be happy to score. Of course, I don't advocate running in front of your old fans and rubbing anyone's nose in it, of course. But I do think that your new fans want you to celebrate with them, with the teammates. So I wouldn't never hold it against anybody that celebrated after scoring against their old club.
Okay, right. Are we all okay with the awarding of this penalty in the 95th minute?
For me, yes. I think Broja does fantastically, to be honest with you, because he leaves his chop so late that Diaz actually thinks he's going to shoot and slides into him. So for me, yeah, it's definitely a penalty.
Centre half for you?
Yeah, I mean, what is it? 3 minutes left in the game. Strikers looks like he's in about to shoot. You panic and rush back in and try and get in the way of the ball. And
when you go in like that, you did get a little bit of the ball, didn't you? In your mind, you think, I've got to get this. I've got to really time this.
Yeah, you do. I think probably Diaz will say himself, he's just wanting to get in the way of the shot. He's not expecting a chop in that moment. You're expecting him to strike it. And it's fair play to Broja. He fakes a shot. Diaz comes flying in and fair pen.
Yeah, it's a definite penalty for me. I think, Diaz does get a touch of the ball. If the ball then moves into an area whereby a shot on target can't be taken, then of course that's enough of getting the ball to say no penalty. But he just glances it, and Broja's still about to have a shot, so it's got to be a penalty when he brings him down. And the coolness of this guy is unbelievable.
Listen to this. He had a 4-minute wait in the 95th minute against a club where he spent 15 years. Give us a sense of the mentality and the calmness he's shown there.
That's him. He's from when I've met him, the way I've seen him play, he's a very, very laid-back person. He seems to take everything in his stride, and any pressures that are there, he welcomes them. Like, for him, that he would have enjoyed that moment, not just putting the ball in the back of the net, being that person that they've lent on to take that penalty.
To give you some indication, as soon as the penalty was, as you mentioned, there was 4 minutes of wait, and I said to Sean, "Do you fancy him here?" He goes, "He's born for this occasion." He's so confident. He loves this type of pressure. He knows them as well as anybody, and it played out that way. It was so cool, such pressure for the young lad, but he didn't bat an eyelid.
Indeed, says it's unusual for Manchester City to concede 4 goals. September 2020 in any competition was the last time that happened. So let's just go all the way back to Manchester City's penalty. It's important to remind ourselves of the story of the game. And we're still a little bit undecided whether you're happy with this awarding of the penalty.
Well, of course I'm happy. I'm a City fan, so if they get a penalty, I'm always...
for you to remain neutral, Sean, but away you go.
I was always going to be happy, but no, for me, I think it is a bit harsh. There's pulling on both sides of it, but it gets awarded to, obviously, City at the time. And if you keep giving these sort of fouls, then I've said it before, there'll be too many of them going on within the Premier League. But once it's given, it's there. But it's the last tug, I think, more than the first two.
James, you're involved in this type of thing all the time, aren't you? In the penalty area with attackers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Cucurella gets punished for the last foul, but there's probably 2 or 3 fouls on him before that, or either way. So it seems harsh to me. It seems very harsh. Cucurella just tries to redeem himself after being fouled, and it goes against him, and City go 1-0 with the penalty.
What about this with Doku pushing into Cucurella?
Yeah, there's a couple of different things that you can watch, analyse, discuss. There's definitely a little shove, but probably not enough. Both players, get up onto their feet. As James said, actually, at half-time, if one of them stays down and maybe even holds his head, then that game probably gets stopped. And then you see that the shirt pulling is happening at quite an early stage. I actually think it's Cucurella that puts his arm on Haaland first, then Haaland pulls him back, and then Cucurella pulls him back again. So there was a lot of shirt tugging there. The referee's obviously landed in favour of Haaland. It could have gone either way, I feel, that one.
10 out of 11 Premier League penalties for Erling Haaland.
Yeah, not as comfortable or not as convincing, I should say, as the penalty at the other end at the end of the game. A little bit scuffy, but hey, who cares when it hits the back of the net?
Yeah, you've hit the back of the net this season. What about Thiago Silva for the equaliser from a central defender's run and positioning sense?
Yeah, we've seen it through his time in the Premier League and even before that, across that front post, and he times his header perfectly because they're not easy then. Great run, great timing, and good contact to get it across the goal and into the far corner.
Yeah, this is what we looked at half-time, Steve. This is the area they're trying to hit. Just take your eyes on Alvarez getting taken out of that area. And then Cucurella again was pulling Rodri away from that. I actually think Rodri might have got to the ball if Cucurella hadn't seen it. I'm sure VAR looked at it, didn't think it was strong enough case to disallow it, and it's a well-worked goal in the end for Chelsea.
What about 2-1 Chelsea from a City point of view, first of all, the way you conceded it?
I think these were the mistakes that I think Rodri highlighted, the missed kick here. And then it goes through. For me, Cole Palmer does the right thing. Reece James is perfectly run, but Guardiola, he reads it, and it comes obviously short. And Reece James plays a fantastic ball across to Sterling, and it goes in the back of the net.
Yeah, I think Kyle Walker on the back post here. James, probably you're the man to describe this. He's in the best position here, but he ball watches.
Yeah, just before that, he's got the advantage over Sterling in terms of he's ahead of him. Switches off ever so slightly, a moment of lapse of concentration, and Sterling's scored a lot of goals in that position for Man City. And he comes back to Hartman and gets one at the back post for Chelsea.
It is a typical Sterling goal, that, isn't it? And that's not to be, have a go at him at all. I mean, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. But he scores an awful lot of goals from 2-3 yards out. Probably developed that side of his game, actually, at City. He never did it so much at Liverpool. Developed it at City, and and England as well. He scores a lot of goals, or did score a lot of goals, from 2-3 yards out. It's a real knack to be able to do that, and that's how you get your numbers up.
That seems a ridiculous question to ask, because Erling Haaland's up to 49 Premier League goals now in 48 games. But he did have a great chance at this point. Is there anything he could have done better?
I love this move. I mean, I think he gets the ball earlier than he was expecting. What about that for a touch, and a double touch on the run? For me, left-footed there, I think that he could place it into the near post. However, even from where he is, I still think it's a finish that he can make there. He's quite close. He's only 12, 13 yards out. We see this is a great angle. It's not that close to the corner. But I do think that percentages would say that go to the near post there. Left-footer, running towards that end, near post would be the finish. But, hey, he's one of the best finishers in the world, so who am I to tell him?
Well, he hasn't got a Ballon d'Or yet. He only came second. Just on the stroke of half-time, they did get their equaliser. You pointed out the Enzo Fernandez situation here with the marking.
Yeah, I think as you see there, Foden's on the edge, and Enzo tries to read the game, which if it did get squared, he's in a good position, but it leaves Akanji free in the box, and you can see it's a great ball in, and Akanji rises well. Good timed header right into the corner. It's a terrific header because they're not easy, they're not as easy up.
It's brilliant finish, absolutely brilliant. The ball almost goes behind him a little bit, uses his neck muscles to get in behind it and nod it into the far top corner. Beautiful header.
That was only half time at 2-2. We'll